Hey guys, Guy Level here. Every year I try to make a video where I come up with a content strategy or a content plan for that year. Usually beginning of the year, people get a newfound motivation. They have resolutions and things like that. And I want to help out when it comes to the planning sessions. The new motivation is great, but a lot of times people would put things that sound good on paper, but are actually pretty counterproductive in practice. Other people are often overwhelmed. They have full-time jobs, they have like a family and things like that, so they never actually take the time to be able to plan. Now, for the past year, I've been giving advice on what to do in order to go full-time, not just as a streamer, but as a content creator, because I believe that it is extremely difficult to go full-time just as a streamer, right? You can't be a multimedia content live broadcaster, live entertainer, and just refuse to be able to film yourself or refuse to use TikTok because, I don't know, it's cringe or something like that. It really ups the difficulty. But this year, I want to do something different. I would like to cater, to not use the word pander, to what I feel like is the typical Twitch streamer. I kind of want to tell you what you want to hear without lying to you, of course. So don't worry, this video will not be the typical advice, which is good advice, of make content elsewhere. Have like a successful TikTok page, a successful YouTube account, have like a good presence on IG, be super active on social media like Twitter, interact with people, network, and all that stuff. Again, this is not bad advice. It's just that the typical Twitch streamer doesn't want to hear that. And I kind of get it. It sounds like this all takes away from the fun of live streaming. I'm in a position where I still stream for fun, and I'm super glad that I am, because if I ever took it too seriously, I would hate it. Straight up. That means that the strategy is going to be more difficult for growth, but at least you'll be streaming the most. You'll have the most fun. I wanted to quickly write like the chapters, the keywords for the video, because I don't really write scripts. And this is all that I came up with. So sit back, relax. This might be long. We'll listen to a message from our sponsor and then we will start. And this video is sponsored by Owned. Owned is the one-stop shop for live streamers. If you want overlays, you want emotes, you want animated emotes, you want badges, anything you need. But one thing that should grab your attention right now is that they have the official Call of Duty overlays for live streamers. So this is not something inspired. This is not something made to vaguely resemble. This is officially licensed overlays. And it's complete with intermission screens, your just chatting scenes, your camera overlays, even if you have a green screen, they thought of that. You got your labels bars, your animated alerts, and everything you need to make your Twitch channel look great. And I know I mentioned Twitch, but it's not the only platform that's supported. You're gonna have Kick, you're gonna have YouTube, absolutely everything you need. So go check it out over at owned.gg/GaelLevel. That is own3d.gg/GaelLevel. So before we get into the actual strategy, I wanna talk about the branding. Don't be scared, it's gonna be fine. If you're just starting out and you don't have a branding, well, it's gonna be super easy. If you already kinda have branding, meaning you just customize your Twitch channel, I want you to go ahead and simplify everything. Starting from scratch, go super simple. You're gonna pick a color scheme, and my advice for color schemes that have to do with gaming is you usually want one vibrant color, one neutral color, and one darker color. Colors do have meaning. Colors do represent things, and you want to choose colors that kind of suit your style. If you do cozy stuff, very chill streams, you want to go with pastel colors. If you do hype, high energy streams, competitive games, and things like that, you usually want one very vibrant color: red, cyan, green, yellow, even orange, kind of, but then contrasted with like dark grays and white. Those are colors you can find in sports teams, for example. One easy way to basically pick your branding is to look up the branding of your favorite game or the games that you're gonna play the most. If you play a lot of horror games, you might want to go with horror themes. Red would be your vibrant color, and then black, and then maybe some dark purples and things like that. When I say I want you to simplify it, if you had a bunch of textures, if you had a bunch of garbage on let me not use the word garbage. If you had like a bunch of different images and this and that, just simplify it. Just pick the dark color. You want it to fill the screen. You want to put some accents with the vibrant color, like your red, your yellow and stuff. And then you want to put some text. Maybe the text will be white, or maybe the text will be the vibrant color, and then you will have some accents. If you're like, oh, I want to put a controller there, and then, oh, what if I had like flowers, or maybe I had like a background that's from my favorite anime? No, don't do any of that. Simplify absolutely everything. That includes your Twitch banner, your profile picture, your panels, your offline image. Hopefully you have an offline image. And then that also includes your overlays. You want that clean, simplistic look to also show up in your overlays in your OBS sources. If you have a bunch of stuff that's doing a bunch of garbage, I'm gonna use garbage, okay? If you have a bunch of garbage on screen, this was supposed to be a chill video. If you have a bunch of garbage on screen, get rid of them. Get rid of them, replace them with simple colors, simple shapes. You don't need your screen to be full of a bunch of stuff for people to look at. It's a mess. It's cluttered. You don't need that. Obviously, I'm not talking about you professional graphic designers, all right? There's always one in the comments that's like, well, me, like, shut up. I don't make videos for you. Obviously, it doesn't apply to you. All right, the second thing that we're gonna do is flesh out the niche. Again, don't be scared. I'm not saying you have to pick a niche and stick to it, which you would have so many advantages if you did, but this is not what we're doing today, right? Today, we're feeding. But just try to write down. Basically, the goal here is to flesh out what you do. You need to be able to explain to someone in details, relatively, what you do exactly. You want to be like, okay, I play shooter games. I play competitive games with a mix of this. I mostly do just chatting. I interact with my live audience. They show me stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I also play horror games, horror survival games, or just survival games. Things like that. You know, you want to write it down, like actually write it down and be able to explain it. Variety streamer is way, 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 way too vague, and people just use it for anything. The reason why we need to do this is because it's going to help us better understand our audience, better understand the content that we want to put out, and also how we want to advertise it. Don't be scared. We're going to advertise it, but it's not going to take a lot of effort. I promise. All I need you to do is pick a couple of categories that you feel like you're going to be streaming in, and then later on you can adapt it. But for now, pick. Actually pick. I've seen people be like, oh, I'm a variety streamer. And then I go on their channel and it's literally the same single game that they play every single day. Later on, when you start streaming those games and things like that, you're going to see like, oh, I get more views when I do this. My chat really doesn't like when I do that. When I play this game, my chat is completely dead. When I play this game, my chat is hype. Then you can decide, okay, what you want to stream more and what you want to stream less. Okay, we're almost to the strategy, but let's talk about a little bit of workflow. Just a little bit. When it comes to OBS, of course, I said that before, you want to go in and delete anything that you don't need. Group things that need to be together so they're not a bunch of sources, even though they serve the same purpose. Basically, absolutely optimize your OBS so that everything is clear and you're not lost and you're not scrolling to find specific sources to do this and do that. If you know exactly those games that we talked about that you had to pick out, then you can create specific scenes if you need for some stuff. For example, I stream just chatting, so I have my full screen. I stream normal games on my computer, so I'll have webcam overlay and this and that. But I also have a scene for VR games, where in this case, when I'm wearing my headset, I use a different mic and I need a different input. So this has to go in a different scene. I don't do it often, but every time I have to do it, I just have a scene. I don't have to set it up every single time. Just removing the headache of switching things up. If you have an Elgato Stream Deck or multiple Stream Decks for that matter, now is the time. It's time. It's time to actually set it up and make it do a bunch of stuff. Please, please, please use the multitask, the dial stack on the Stream Deck Plus, and it's called multi-action on the regular one. Basically pressing a button that does a bunch of stuff. You can automate a lot of everything, really. For example, when I'm getting ready to start my stream, what I usually do is I open up OBS as an admin. I switch my scene collection and my profile to streaming because I'm usually on recording, which I am on right now. Then I open up Potty Pop, I open up StreamerBot, and I open up Pretzel Rocks. Now I usually do this before streaming. You can set all of that, put a delay, and then tell OBS to start streaming, or you can put it in 2 buttons. So 1 button for pre-stream stuff, 1 button for ready to start the stream, and then you can have a button for stopping the stream. And even closing stuff, I think they added the ability to close applications. So for example, I should set up mine to close Pretzel Rocks and close speech chat and things like that. Your microphone, it is time for you to figure out your microphone. You can't be having mic problems. What I don't understand is how people have settings that change every single time they open up OBS. Like, oh, it wasn't like that last time. What happened? What happened? If you have a mic with a physical button, I want you to turn on monitoring, listen to yourself, make sure the gain is low enough for it not to saturate and also not to pick up too much noise. And I don't know, hot glue it in place. Put a little bit of tape on it so you don't accidentally turn the little knob on the mic. Now granted, you're not supposed to have your audio levels in Windows at 100%, and sometimes with Windows updates, it will just put it to 100%. I get that. That happens once every 6 months though. Oh, and remember when I was telling you to optimize OBS and simplify your graphic design and things like that? Same thing here. if you keep having technical difficulties, simplify the process. You do not need to have every single, and people are gonna hate me for that. You don't need to have every single audio source on a separate channel that you like, you're mixing and matching. You're not a DJ. Put on your headset, look at the visual equalizer, look at the visual graph of your audio, speak into it. Hello, 1, 2, test, test, test. If when you speak, the desktop audio is louder than your voice, meaning it goes red and then your voice doesn't hit red, that means it's louder. All you have to do is bring it down. Maybe monitor yourself, open up the stream, listen a little bit, and keep it there. Don't touch it anymore. From now on, when you're listening to music, you kind of have an idea of where it is because that's what you tested it with. And then you open up a game and the game is loud in your headset. Guess what? It's going to be loud on stream too. So you basically manage to monitor your sound through your headset. And if the music and the game is too loud, but I don't want to turn it down on stream because stream is hearing it at the perfect level, just turn it down on your headset. Turn it down on your headset. I'm sure I have a SteelSeries Arctis 7. It has not 1, but 2 knobs where I can just turn it down for myself. This, most of the time, doesn't affect the stream at all. I know you're bombarded with a bunch of products telling you, oh, this is the professional way to do this, the professional way to do that. The more complex you make the process of streaming, the more things are gonna go wrong. And guess what? The least you're gonna be streaming because you're gonna be troubleshooting every time. The more individual parts are in a machine, the more likely it is to break down. All right, I'm gonna try to speed it up. I'm sorry about this rant. Interactions, you wanna clean up your channel points. And when I say clean up your channel points, you wanna change at least the color. I don't expect you to go and find an icon for stuff. It will be great. They are customizable. You can put an icon. Everything that is like sound effects, for example, if you have a bunch of sound effects and then you have stuff that appear on screen, it would be cool to come up with an icon for each of them so that it's easy to traverse. And that's some advice that I need to take because right now, my channel points are just a mess and I'm having trouble finding stuff. So keep the colors consistent. For example, sound effects can be red and they're all red. TTS can be its own thing, whatever you have. Then there's the workflow part of creating content. Calm down. If you're a multi-stream type of person, try to do it right. It's the idea of like, I see people stream on Twitch and also TikTok, and then they just don't look at their TikTok at all. That's super annoying, especially since TikTok, people can send you gifts. They can send you the little icon thingies, and this is money, right? So you wouldn't want to ignore people giving you money on Twitch. Why are you doing it on TikTok? This idea of, oh, they'll see me on TikTok and then they'll come to Twitch to talk to me. Why are you streaming at all? If what I'm doing is currently scrolling live streams on TikTok, I'm not looking to go and talk on Twitch and open up a whole different app. If I type in your TikTok stream and you don't answer, I'm just scrolling away. Especially if I do stuff like share the live stream, things that Twitch doesn't give. You don't have alerts if someone shares your Twitch stream. TikTok gives you that alert. If someone subscribed to your stream because there's subscription, if someone follows you from watching the stream. So yeah, if you can't handle actually both entertaining and also interacting with an audience on multiple platforms, just don't multi-stream. This is gonna make more sense in the strategy part, but one thing that you really need is to use the replay buffer feature. By the way, if I'm talking about Stream Deck a lot, it's in front of me and I know a lot of people have it, but if you don't have one, you can set up everything with a keyboard shortcut, okay? So yeah, use replay buffer because instead of the compression of your live stream, a lot of people stream 720p, 60 FPS and whatever bit rate, you're gonna have way better quality with the replay buffer because I believe you can set it up to basically record lossless and high quality. I want you to use ATEM vertical and basically have your scenes pretty much ready to be like a vertical video. So you're gonna have your camera up top, your content at the bottom or vice versa, whatever. But you also need a little thing with your name. Just put it in there so that anything that you clip is going to be ready to post. All it will need is a little bit of trimming and that's it. Whatever you're using to trigger the replay buffer, you want it to trigger the playback feature, I think it's called. It's their version of the replay buffer, meaning that you will have a video in landscape mode and also portrait mode by the press of a button while live streaming without having to beg for your chat to take clips and without having to go back and watch your own VOD and take your own clips afterwise. All right, so the actual strategy is basically stream a lot and spend a little bit of effort into promoting the stream. There's no true algorithm. I mean, there's an algorithm pushing your stream, but it's just in one single part of Twitch. Some don't even see it most of the time, so you need to be pushing your own stream in a certain way. But again, I'm trying to appeal to the overall majority of streamers. So we're not gonna be active on TikTok. We're not gonna be networking on Twitter. We're not gonna be a full-fledged YouTuber making like tutorial videos or maybe news videos and top 5 videos and things like that. None of that. We're gonna use clips, those clips that we took with ADAM Vertical and the replay buffer, and we're just gonna post them. We're gonna post them on YouTube. First of all, we're gonna post both versions on YouTube, so the vertical version and also the landscape version. Of course, the vertical version is gonna go on TikTok. The landscape version can go on Twitter and Instagram. We're just gonna forget about it. Forget about it. We're not gonna post on Instagram. Forget Instagram. We're trying to be, I don't wanna say the word lazy, but I said it. We're trying to be lazy here. We're trying to put the least amount of effort when it comes to not streaming. So we don't have time for Instagram. We don't have time for the shenanigans and all the bots and all the fake engagement and all the scams in your DMs. We're not going to deal with that at all. We're going straight for the money, essentially. TikTok has a creator program. After a couple thousand subs, followers, you're literally going to be making money. If you're in Europe, there's the TikTok Amplify thing that I'm a part of. They basically use your TikToks to promote like products or companies or services and things like that. And they don't pay you directly, but it actually boosts every single TikTok that you post. So you're almost guaranteed to get a bunch of views. And then the creator program actually pays you for those views. For YouTube, I usually tell people don't really chase the monetization through shorts. Like it's cool, it might give you a couple of subs because you need that for the main monetization thing, but also post regular videos. Now, to optimize our time or the time spent on that, because you don't want to spend time on that, you can find a service that might allow you to cross post. I Googled one earlier, so I'm not endorsing this. I haven't tried it myself, but there's something called newlink.com and it seems to be like $7 a month. And it will cross post on 7 social channels is what they claim, but that includes TikTok, that includes Twitter, that includes YouTube Shorts. I don't know if that includes regular YouTube though. You might have to post 2 things like twice. It's gonna take you 10 minutes, okay? Per clip, I guess. If the goal is to post like 1 clip per day, then you have to work 10 minutes a day outside of your live streaming schedule, without having to go back and watch your VODs and be like, oh, no one clipped anything, because you're going to be in charge. Another thing I realized is that Adobe Express allows you to cross post to Instagram and also Twitter and also TikTok. So we're not using Instagram here. Would have been cool if YouTube Shorts was included, but just in case that you still want to go ahead with Instagram, you can post one thing and then it posts on those 3 platforms all at once. And also scheduled, by the way. Oh yeah, in case you don't know, Adobe Express is free. I know it's Adobe. Probably think, oh my God, money. No, Adobe Express is free. This probably should have been in the workflow, but your schedule, if you want to come up with a schedule, I usually don't tell, even if you're try-harding, I usually tell people you don't have to have a schedule. It's good. It helps you. People can expect when you're going to be live without relying on notifications and things like that. But if a schedule is making you depressed, just get rid of it. Get rid of it. But in this case, what I wrote down is that you need to make a template for announcing your schedule if you start building a following and things like that. It's kind of a cool thing. I don't think it does much, as in no one's going to remember your schedule by heart because they saw it on a Twitter post or whatever, but it's a cool thing to post if you want to. Okay, part of the strategy is figuring out what content, like what you want to focus on when it comes to the content. So you have a choice between well, you don't really have a choice, but whatever. You can really showcase your personality and go all in you, because I don't know, you're a variety streamer and you really want to do whatever you want. So you really want your face to be out there. You really want to be present and things like that. And basically have an audience that is here just for you, that wouldn't want to watch, for example, if you don't have your camera on, if you're not there, versus focusing, I put gameplay down, but like focusing on the content itself, meaning that do you want to show things that might go viral for what happened in game, or things that do pretty well just because, hey, look at this is a funny person, or it's an interesting person. So you got to think about that and even be able to write it down, because it will help you figure out which types of clips you want to throw out there. You're going to be throwing whatever sticks, right? But having an overall idea of what you want to broadcast and how you want to put yourself out there is always good. With experience, you're going to figure out what works and what doesn't, for you at least. So since we're talking about full-time stuff, let's talk about money. You kind of want to highly monetize your stream. And a lot of people are like, how do I do that? Like, how? It all starts with your approach to it. My advice, it's a very subjective thing, but my advice is usually you don't want to make money streaming because you're begging, right? You don't want to be like, please give me money. Please, I need the money. Please give me. We all do. We all need money, right? You always want to give something in return that will incentivize people to give the money without you having to ask, having to beg. So making your stream highly interactive, but depending on at least a little bit of money is always good. I advise you, one of the things that I came up with recently is to show kind of previews of things that people can unlock with bits or like subs or gifted subs and things like that. You want to reward people for doing those actions, right? But channel points are great. People have been unlocking the most, I was gonna say disturbing, disrupting, the most disruptive stuff people have been putting with StreamerBot and channel points, and it's cool. But you can have small versions of that as your channel points, and then if people actually use bits, they can have the big version of that. There's no reason why like 1,000 channel points should unlock like a 50-second distraction from the stream. But for $5 though, basically give them options, right? Give them options and also try to display a menu. You can do it through Nightbot, for example. People can type, well, you can just put it on a timer. From time to time, it will be like, hey, we have this cool thing. If you give 69 bits, this thing will happen. You know, if you give 420 bits, this thing will happen. Or it could just be like 100, 200. Doesn't have to be cringe. There's a bunch of interactive stuff like Polypop, for example. You remember the cheer cup? It was a little cup that sits on stream and people give bits, and you would literally see an icon of like the bit icon fall down, and you could fill the cup. And if someone subs, it would have like more mass, I guess, and it would hit it and it would explode and things like that. Those were cool. Those were cool. I guess like they're not a trend anymore, but you could use something like Polypop, which is a broadcasting software that runs on a 3D engine, and actually have like physical interactions, physical objects that have real simulated physics when an event happens. And it's super easy to set. I have videos on it. I've seen, I believe Ashley Roboto recently had a thing where every time you gifted something, she would have like a round circle drop, and you could basically fill the screen if you wanted to, but you would have to give a lot. You could probably do this with Polypop with the added physics of, oh, if someone gives, I don't know, a bunch of subs or whatever, it will also blow the whole thing and it's going to bounce around. It could be pretty cool. VoiceMod has an extension that allows people to give bits and change your voice for a little bit. You set the prices, pretty cool. I believe Blurp allows you to play sound effects using bits. You also set the prices, pretty cool. Now, I'm not a huge fan of panel extensions, so my advice would be, if you have another way of running those things, for example, StreamerBot has some integrations. I haven't tried the StreamerBot integration with VoiceMod, for example, but if I were to do it, that's what I would use, right? I would control everything through chat, so it wouldn't have to like disrupt my panels or whatever. Talking about StreamerBot integration, I know that Pulsoid has an integration. I haven't tried it yet. I will, I should. Basically, it's a heart rate monitor that you put on stream. You can have a widget that showcases your heart rate monitor. You put that thing and you put some jump scare alerts. I don't know. For a couple of bits, this specific alerts is going to play and it's a, I don't know, a scream or whatever. It scares me and then my heart rate goes up and then chat goes, ha 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 ha. And you make that money and you get that bag. But yeah, that's basically what I mean when I say a highly monetized stream. I'm not talking putting donation goals like, oh, pay the electricity bill and it's like $300. Nothing wrong with it. But from a viewer standpoint, it's just like, okay, I need to come in, I need to watch this stream and I need to care enough to feel like, oh, I'm paying this person's electricity bill, right? Or I'm contributing to it while they're playing on their $10,000 setup. And I go work a 9 to 5 to afford even gifting that money. So giving them something in return, making the stream like interactive, it's not gonna feel like, oh, I'm just giving money to help out. It's like, oh, I did this. Like, oh, I feel like disrupting the stream right now. Oh, I'm interacting with this. Like, there's more gratification, I would say. Of course, gifting to someone is nothing bad. You know, I don't want to make it sound like that. A friend was playing Skyrim with the extension thing. And when I realized that I could spawn enemies and things like that, or just boost their speed, it didn't matter. It was a charity thing. So like, I'm happy I gifted some money, but yeah, it was instant gratification to spawn giant spiders in Skyrim versus just contributing to someone's rent. I'm going to say it. It's going to sound so bad, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when I say highly monetize your stream, I mean do it smart. Don't make it to the detriment of the stream. A highly monetized stream is a very, very fun stream. It's a stream where people come in and even if they've been in the stream for 10 seconds, they are immediately incentivized to actually use their money to do something. I mentioned StreamerBot a lot. There's a bunch of stuff that I need to test because there's so many ideas that I have. So I will be making probably like tutorials on how to do certain stuff. I need to check out the Pulsar integration, the voice mod integration. But yeah, another way to make money, mostly like passively, would be to go through a service that provides like game keys or that does game campaigns basically. Lurkit is going to be the first one that comes to mind. I know that Zola also does that. I believe Keymailer or something like that. I've never used that one, but Zola has been good to me. Lurkit has been really, really good to me, and their platform is also very like creator friendly. You'll receive keys out of nowhere, sometimes without even applying for them, which is really cool. And I have so many keys, so many games that I haven't been playing. But most importantly, on top of the whole affiliate thing, if someone else manages to buy the game with your link, blah, 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 Lurkit has the quest thing where you can literally ask the devs to pay, well, the company to pay you to stream it. To be like, hey, I know you have this game coming up, send me a key. I'll stream it for 2 hours. I'll put a link in my chat. I'll put a panel or whatever. And here's how much money I want. And then the devs can be like, oh, hell yeah, or hell nah. I've done it before. There's no like email communication and blah, 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 and people trying to pull you in Discord calls. There's none of that. So they really, when I say they simplify the whole interaction like that, it's really cool. You just put !ad or !sponsor in your title and you play a game for 2 hours and you get paid for it. I believe Humble Bundle also has an affiliate program. Anyways, basically, if you are really a variety streamer and you tend to play whatever you feel like, you might as well make a little bit of money on the side by doing that. Live streamers right now are really, really kind of carrying the video game industry, but because a lot of people will see the games on a live stream and be like, this seems like fun, I want to have fun too, let me go buy the game. In fact, if you've been streaming for a while, you probably have been doing that. A lot of people probably bought a bunch of stuff based on watching your stream. You just never made any money with it. Of course, I talked about like gifting and giving things in return. When it comes to your setup, if you want to upgrade your setup, I highly recommend you set up a Throne account. Try to put stuff in there that will actually affect the stream or that people will see that it affects the stream. Or if you already have an audience and you know, hey, I have a bunch of people who are totally in love with my personality, then you can put whatever you want in there. They'll buy it. But if you feel like you're a small streamer and you're thinking, oh, no one's going to buy me anything, start by putting stuff that people will actually experience, right? If you want to buy a new mic, for example, if you want to buy some RGB lights, for example, things like that is, hey, we hit the goal. Hey, you guys contributed. I bought this thing. Now the stream looks like this. Here's the next thing that I want to do so that I can do that on stream. I'm going to focus it on stream. So basically Throne for wish lists. And you can also have like milestones when it comes to tips. And the milestones can be giving back to the community, for example. I mentioned Humble Bundle, and I say this every time. I mention Humble Bundle because there's a subscription with Humble Bundle that's like $12 a month, and they give you 12 games a month. At least 1 or 2 of those games every single month is going to be a huge game. It's going to be like a $60, $70 game, right? You can say that, hey, every time we reach, I don't know, $25 in donations, I'll be giving away 1 game. Now, don't do the giveaway only to people who donate because that's literally illegal. People can, like, you can't have people pay to enter a giveaway, but you can say, I'll give away to all of the followers. You can restrict it to followers. You can't restrict it to subs. You can't restrict it to tippers, but you can say, hey, if you guys tip and we reach that goal, I'm giving away a game to any of you, including people who didn't tip, basically. And as I said, Humble Bundle is $12 a month. If you make the goal like $25 a month, guess what? Your community paid for your Humble Bundle subscription and they didn't get all 12 games. So it's a win-win. Don't just do the giveaway like nonchalantly, try to hype it up, make people get excited, maybe make them compete a little bit, play some games and be like, whoever, play some like social games, like the Jackbox or like Act It Out and things like that. And whoever wins is gonna win the game, or Words on Stream, or those games, okay? Marbles on stream, whoever wins the game. And there you go, you end up with a highly monetized stream that doesn't feel like it's just someone begging, right? It's just going to be a super hype stream with a lot going on, a lot of people participating and enjoying their time. You can win stuff, you get competitive. Sounds like a good time, right? While generating you some money so you can survive and hopefully like go full time at some point. So even if I'm sounding kind of negative about like, you know, the low effort strategies, basically, it is still possible. There's still a possibility. Is it the best? No. Is it relying on a lot of luck? Yes, which is not great strategy. But once again, as I said, I do understand really loving the activity of streaming and not wanting to necessarily do all of the shenanigans around it. So let's recap to make sure that you got it. You're gonna start by cleaning up your branding. Pick 3 colors max. Clean up everything. Don't put a bunch of garbage on screen. If you have the most complex overlay ever, get rid of it. If you use your camera, put it full screen. Just slap the chat here and then you're good. That's an overlay. Flesh out your niche. You want to absolutely know what you're about to do in a couple of games, even though it's gonna vary like later on. You're gonna adapt, but be able to write, I don't know, a couple of lines of what you do on stream or what you plan on doing on stream. Clean up your workflow. You want to go in OBS, delete everything that you haven't used in a year. Make sure, since you already know which games you're going to be streaming, make sure you have the appropriate scene so that you don't have to create a new scene just because you're switching games at some point or whatever. Set up your stream deck or just your keyboard shortcuts so that they actually do everything that you need to be done when you're streaming. Clean up your channel points. If there's some channel points that people never use, just get rid of them. But most importantly, you want to color code them, and even better, put some icons, customize them so that it's very clearly visible what they do. If you multi-stream, do it right. Make sure you're reading both chats and reacting to both alerts. You're going to be creating content, and for that, you need to use the replay buffer and also I'm calling it flashback, but I'm pretty sure that's not what it's called, but whatever. You're going to use ADOM vertical to have both vertical clips and also horizontal clips at the same time, just ready while you're streaming, so you don't have to go back and watch your VOD and spend time. So the actual strategy is to stream like 90% of the free time you have. I'm not going to give you a specific set of days that you need to stream because I don't know you. If you have a full-time job, you may not be able to stream every single day, but whatever free time you have to stream, you want to stream 90% of that. And then the other, well, actually, let's say 70% of that you want to be live streaming. 10% of that you want to be posting those clips. All you have to do is either use a service that's going to cross-post them or go on each social for each clip. Try to post once per day. Just trim it to the interesting part. Trim it as much as you can to really keep it concise. 15 seconds is the most likely to go viral, for example. Landscape on YouTube, landscape on Twitter, portrait on YouTube Shorts, portrait on TikTok. That's it. You don't have to be active. I'm not going to ask you to be active. I'm not going to ask you to network. I'm not going to ask you to be a full-time whatever, to look up trends and use trending sounds or whatever. Just basics. Put a couple hashtags if you want. You're good. Again, I'm not saying this is the best advice, but we are purposely trying to be lazy here. Another 10% is to relax. You don't have to be always streaming on your free time. And another, did I say enough? What did I say? I said 70% streaming, 10% posting content, 10% social if you want to, just scrolling and looking at stuff, I guess. Usually learning, I would say, if you want to, or just optimizing your stream. And then the other 10%, you can just rest. And then finally, when it comes to money, you want to highly monetize your stream. You want to have a whole bunch of different interactions. You want to display a menu basically to let people know constantly that, hey, if you give that much bits, this is going to happen. If you do that, that's going to happen. You can also have milestones if you reach certain bits goal, and you can even give back to the community to incentivize them to basically help you reach further goals. If you're doing giveaways, you want to hype them up a lot. You don't want to just be like, oh, just type yes in chat if you want to participate. No, do a whole thing. You want to utilize voice mod. You want to utilize any extension that allows people to give bits to make things happen. Blurb for sound effects. Pulsoid displays your heart rate. You can combine that with scary specific alerts for specific amounts of bits and tips and or even subs or gifted subs, whatever. And that's pretty much it. That's it. Again, this is the lazy way. And I'm not saying lazy as a bad thing necessarily, but this is like least amount of effort possible that you can put if you are quote unquote trying to go full time as a live streamer. If you want to be successful as a live streamer, there's no real method of becoming successful as a live streamer. But if you want to put yourself out there and maybe unlock some opportunities, this is the best way to do it and not feel like you're working hard and, not really work hard. You don't have to stay up to date with whatever controversy is happening on Twitter, whatever trend is happening on TikTok. You don't even have to deal with Instagram at all. You don't have to be a YouTuber. You're just reposting clips on both formats. So the algorithm is basically pushing you to 2 different audiences. Yeah, the goal is hopefully on TikTok, you'll get enough followers to get in a creator program. Even if you make cents per month, that's still like, or something that takes you 5 minutes to post, I think that's pretty great. And if you manage to get monetized on YouTube, whether it's through shorts or normal videos, then you're good. Every single time you post, every single view you get is going to be more money. On top of being I forgot the affiliate thing. On top of also being affiliated with some of the games that you're gonna play, we're gonna make extra money. Your AdSense from Twitch, which is ridiculous. Your sub money from Twitch, your bits, and then your tips. And if you use a service like Lurkit, you can basically ask companies, depending on your following. Of course, like the more followers you have, the easier it is for you to ask for money. But yeah, with Lurkit, you can literally ask companies to pay you to stream the games. So you're covered. That's pretty much it. If I didn't want to go above and beyond, or I was too busy with other life stuff, this is probably the strategy that I would employ in order to continue Twitch and also, have a certain level of success. And for the people who are currently typing, yeah, but I only do it as a hobby, that's good. That's fine. That's completely, there's nothing wrong with that. That video does not talk about that. It's completely okay to look up videos to get better at your hobby, but you gotta understand that I don't make my videos for that purpose necessarily. If you do a hobby and it's fun, just do it. It's fun. You don't need me to tell you how to do your hobby. It's a fun activity. I'm so low energy right now. I'm so tired. But that's the last video of the month of January 2024. And maybe you should follow me on Twitch. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Go out there, make me proud, have fun streaming. Get level out.